Hello? Okay, so let's get technology back online. So Renata, thank you for the very motivational speak. It's now difficult for me to top that even, but I'll try. So remember the point with the handcuffs, okay? So you had your partner in the handcuffs and you were kind of losing more and more the morale because you were kind of saying, oh my God, this is too hard, I won't do it, I won't be able to manage it. Well, remember we had created these two content pieces here, ERP concept, example, transaction recording. And we have created them actually already in the business process of the end customer because our system allows you to create content according to business process. And now this is the authoring platform in which I, as an author, can create content. So if I look from a preview perspective in my authoring system, I see process steps which are generated by the system. And if I go here, I can actually access this content. So now, what I will quickly do, I will show you that we have a web publisher that allows you to create a portal automatically out of the content which was released by the authors to the end users. So for that, I more or less go now in my portal. So this is now the end user view. I'm now the learner. I changed hats. I'm no longer the author. I'm the learner. I go now to forecast to stock, position, and exactly here where we created the content in this step. And now I have this feeling coming up which I had with the handcuffs, you know? Oh my God, it's not there, the content I wanted to show. The content I wanted to release to 10,000 of users. My God, I feel desperate. My motivation is dwindling away. But then I remember, focus. This portal shows content only which has been released by the authoring workflow, okay? And now I should remember, oh, what is the status of my learning object? We have seen from Bernick and Reiner that they have workflows, and the end of the workflow is to release the content. So, I feel now relieved. I go back to my authoring platform. I check now the status of my learning object, and if you see, it's still work in progress. Okay, so that explains why it was not visible in the portal for the end user. And I will now show you how amazingly difficult it is to publish this content to 10,000 users. I go in the properties of this learning object. I change the status and I bypass the quality assurance. Oh my God, look away. I bypass the quality assurance and I release the content directly. And so now I confirm, okay. You see now how the status of my learning object is released. I go back to my portal. I then update the page. I go to forecast to stock, production disposition, ERP concept validation, and yes, success! As you can see, it's now visible for more than 10,000 users. I click on it and I can immediately access either the e-learning or the documentation or the short instructions as I just had created them and remember 5 minutes before. So I'm now feeling very motivated because I was able to solve a very difficult mission. But our system normally produces content in HTML, as you might remember, and we support Internet Explorer and we support Firefox. But now there came people to us who said, well, but you know, there are these devices out there. We would like not only to publish it on the Internet Explorer or on Firefox, we would like that our end users can access the content through a mobile device, like for example the iPad. So TTS focused on this challenge because it was a challenge for us. And the result of the focus is what I will be showing you right now. So I now switch the screen from my PC over to the iPad. So welcome to my very first iPad-based presentation. I hope everything works. So here you go. You can see a browser of the iPad, which is Safari for iPad. And the link up there is a link which can be accessed by people with an iPad. And then remember the Adidas content that we had been looking at. Here it is, actually in a slightly different format. For example, the button to play is now bigger because I have bigger fingers than just a mouse pointer. So we adjusted also the content. But basically, it's the same content than was published on the PC. So we have a system that allows you to create now content not only for the PC as a target system, but on the same platform with the same e-learning authoring tool, you can now also create content for the iPad. So basically, this is the iPad publisher as an option to the TT Knowledge Force. And for example, here I then just can type on production and I key some details and so on. So it's actually a new way also how to feel the e-learning because you touch the exercises. Normally with the mouse it's already a bit indirect, and now it's really touching the things. So this is now an example which we did for Adidas. So we brought out the iPad publisher actually last month, so it's very new. But we said, now comes the interesting challenge. Think about the manager who wants to prepare himself for his flight to China, and that in China he's not doing some cultural mistakes, and he wants to take the content with him on the plane, on his iPad. The problem is that the iPad publisher for, let's say, Knowledge Force just allows you to create HTML files which must be accessed through an iPad which is connected online. So we thought, and we focused, and we thought, and we focused, how can we do this? And now the idea came up, let's do an app. Yes. So I will show you the very first app of TTS, which is this little orange. So this is our app. It will be released probably by middle of the year. So it's a very first prototype which I'm showing you. And it's a little bit historical moment, so I'm a bit emotional here. So welcome to the very first bookshelf for courses on the iPad. Remember, you had your bookshelf for books, and you can also download the book from Renata on this bookshelf. You have the bookshelf for newspapers, and now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the bookshelf for courses. For the moment, it's a little bit empty, so we should give it some content. So let me go to the course catalog. This course catalog is actually connected to our server. So basically, the only thing you would have now to do to make it available through a corporate store is actually to release it on the Knowledge Force server, as I did it last time, and just say publication channel iPad, and then 10,000 users in your company having the iPad could then access the content in this way I will be showing to you. So I am now here, for example, the manager. I go to the soft skills section. Oh, I'm happy. Here is a knowledge nugget about intercultural training in China. So let me tap on it. Yeah, that looks good. Learning target, good. I press the download button on the upper right, which is now gray. Oh, and by the way, I saw such a fantastic, you see how it's now downloaded, so I can then take it with me on the plane. And there was a great training by a motivational lady which showed me the thing about this lady flying. Maybe I have a solution because I'm from Otto Bock, and Otto Bock is a worldwide leader in prosthesis. So let me quickly download this training here about a synthetic hand, a robotic hand, which is piloted by the mind. And I will also download in my catalog. So you see now how the second course is being downloaded. I prepare myself now for my travel to China. So in this case, I'm now sitting in my business class seat and enjoying the champagne. And now I start the knowledge nugget about intercultural training in China. And I'm sorry if the contents of them for the moment still in German. It's just some demo material that we have been developed. Again, remember this is a prototype. We'll be releasing it in June. So from the look and feel, you might think it's a flash e-learning or whatever, but it's not flash e-learning because on the iPad you will not be able to play flash anyway. It's just HTML pages which have been created with Knowledge Force. Okay? So this is Knowledge Force content published through the iPad publisher and then published through the score. So this is actually a phone call between a German manager and a Chinese manager, and they discuss and they have big multicultural problems in the exchange, and then later comes an analysis of the discussion, what went wrong and what were the cultural barriers that the German guy maybe did not respect. And so now they're analyzing what went wrong. Okay, this is the one example. And you see it is not related to IT training. Now let's go to the other one, which for me is something extremely impressive. So Otto Bock is a customer of us for almost 3 years now. They have also an affiliate in Vienna. And this is an e-learning which actually they have created, not we. They have created Knowledge Force. So they see this hand. It's a robotic hand which can be piloted through the mind. And so in this case, the guy gave him a grab impulse to grab, and so he can open the door. I go now to the next slide. It now explains the hand, and I can just explore the different elements of this hand. I go through the different steps right here and there. Oh, okay, that's how it works. Good. So now I understand. And again, this is all Knowledge Force content done in HTML, no Flash. Next page. So this is now a little test where I have to answer which element is what. So the wrist is probably easy. I just take it and grab it right there. Axon charge, probably here. Axon energy, right there. Yeah, I must drop it on the right area. My big fingers, you know. And it was not fully correct. I should have changed the others. Okay, but so I learn out of my mistakes what are the right elements. And here, for example, I can look at the different layers of the hand. Again, all HTML, all done by the customer. And here, for example, this page shows now some commands. So this neutral mode would allow you to shake hands. For example, here's a tripod pinch to actually even hold a pen. Here's a lateral pinch to take out a CD. You have the opposition mode to open the palm. So this is all done, piloted by the mind, and there's an interface that the Michelangelo hand can be piloted. So Michelangelo comes from Da Vinci. I don't know if Da Vinci would ever have dreamed that humanity can create such a fantastic device. Yeah, and so it's my pleasure to proudly present you today the very first bookshelf for courses on the iPad, which was right there, and which will arrive probably by mid of the year. So, closing statement, and then I will hand over to Peter. The closing statement basically is that we have some kind of a vision behind all that. Because if we want to focus, we have to focus on the right things. And in order to focus on the right things, we have also to develop the right visions around it. So, let me start the presentation. So basically, we have now here the vision that Knowledge Force can become the knowledge repository for software and products. So, your company has a product rollout process. For example, a telecom company will roll out a new telecom tariff or a new mobile devices which will be rolled out in the shops. Or Bannock and Reiner who have new motors or new software to pilot the motors. You have also a software rollout process where you roll out a new software like the energy company which we have seen who is deploying SAP and who has to train the people. That generates milestones. The documentation is complete, the support organizations are trained, the staff is trained and certified, and the new staff is trained. So from an author perspective, we have seen today some possible approaches. You can plan for the knowledge with the process manager. You can test modules. It's something we didn't even mention today because it would be too much, but you can use actually TT Knowledge Force to test SAP modules, and these test objects down there can be converted to learning objects. So even compressing the time needed to create e-learning content. And you can also create learning objects for products, as I showed you with the Michelangelo hand, for example. You can then localize it very easily, as we have seen with the Bernick and Reiner example, even Korean, so it was very difficult for me to read. And then you can update the content very easily by re-recording the content as I had demonstrated today. And you can manage all the content on the server, which was also a key requirement from Bernick and Reiner. Once you have done all that on the authoring side, you now push the content to the users. And so you push the content by using classroom trainings and eventually a learning management system to handle, let's say, this push of content to different users. And so, for example, Bernick and Reiner is now also going the way to go to a learning management system to be able to push the content in a controlled way. Then we allow for pull of the content. Remember, one piece I need now, and this pull would be done through the quick access, so the panic button I've shown you. The pull can be done with a guide, which walks you through the real application. It can be the process portal, which we have quickly checked, where we release the new content. And we can even integrate the content to the user help desk, because it would be crazy if a guy calls in the help desk, because a call in the help desk is also pulling information, and he gets another information than what was trained. Yeah? So it's better to integrate all that. But then, the next dimension is we have also the product portal, where, for example, a telecom company could then put all the new products there, or Bernick and Reiner, their products. Then we also have something quite new. This iPad here has a camera which can also scan barcodes. So why not link the barcode number to learning objects in the database? Since we already have it, why don't we use it? So in Adidas, the guy is scanning the running mat, you know, which is used to explain how about the right shoe and so on. And he then immediately has an e-learning about how to explain about a shoe. There's a barcode on the door, so he goes in the shop, scans the barcode in the door, and has now an e-learning about how to greet customers friendly. Yeah? So total new ways of learning are not possible with this approach. And typically, you will use the mobile devices for this kind of approach. So you see, it's about the vision. It's about making sure everything is well structured, well organized, easy to produce, easy to distribute, easy to call up. And so, thanks for your attention.